Some headphones chase balance. The HarmonicDyne Eris, it chases bass. A lot of it. But this isn't just a one-note bass cannon. This thing comes in a gorgeous package with accessories you would expect from something way pricier. Today we are going to see if all that low-end power and premium extras add up to something special. I like to start with the packaging, because first impressions matter. The Eris comes in a sleek box with foam inserts and a separate compartment for cables and accessories. It's not flimsy, and it gives you that this is something more than a budget knockoff vibe out of the box. Once it's in your hands, you sense why. The build is mostly plastic. I won't pretend it's metal armored, but the plastic is nicely molded at the very least. It's not premium feeling, but it doesn't feel fragile either. The ear caps have a glossy finish. They look good, but they are fingerprint magnets. Anytime you handle them, you will see smudges. The headband and hinges seem solid enough for everyday use, but I wouldn't abuse them. The earpads though are interesting. The openings aren't huge for me, and I suspect for many others, as my ears do end up touching the pads. It's not perfect, but it's tolerable for a compact headphone. The material is soft, but during longer listening sessions you will feel some warmth building up. Now the headband clamping is decent. It's neither overly loose or crushing. You can wear it for at least 2 hours before realizing you might want to take a break. The cable is one of the highlights. It's thick, sturdy, well made, and ends in a solid 4.4mm balanced connector. It doesn't feel like something they just threw in. That's a plus, since you won't feel the need to upgrade the cable for any reason. Overall, the Eris manages to walk a line. It doesn't feel like a $2,000 headphone, but it also doesn't feel like a toy. The star of the show is a pair of 50mm ceramic metal dynamic drivers. These long stroke drivers can move a lot of air without losing control, which is a big reason why the bass hits so hard while staying relatively clean. Harmonic Dyne also went with a semi-closed 4-vent cup design. That balance between closed and open helps the Eris produce that deep, physical low end while keeping some openness in the mids and highs. It's not as airy as true open back headphones, but it doesn't have the boxy, boomy character of sealed cap either. The included 1.5-meter balanced cable is made from high purity copper and plugs into dual 3.5mm sockets on the caps, so you can easily run balanced or swap to an aftermarket cable. It's thicker and better built than most stock cables, especially in this price range, and you can feel the difference right away. Comfort-wise, the Eris uses micro suede and vegan leather pads that feel soft and premium at first touch. Just a quick interruption brought to you by Shenzhen Audio. If you're in the market for some solid IEMs without breaking the bank, the Truth Here Pure is definitely worth checking out. They've got a good balance across the board. Decent bass, clear mids, and a nice smooth treble. It's not going to blow you away like a flagship, but for the price, you're getting a really enjoyable sound that works well for everything from bass heavy music to more laid-back genres. What's cool is that the Truth Here Pure builds on the popular Hexa model, offering some nice improvements in overall clarity and comfort. If you're interested, I'll drop the link in the video description. On paper, the Eris looks straightforward, but the numbers tell a story about how it behaves in real use. With an impedance of 32 ohms and a sensitivity of around 118 decibels, it's incredibly easy to drive. The frequency range is rated from 10 Hz up to 70 kHz. Most of that top-end extension is way beyond human hearing, but it signals that the drivers are capable of extended treble and sub-bass reach. Distortion is kept to a respectable 0.2% or lower, which isn't lab-grade perfection, but more than clear enough for a headphone in this category. Weight comes in at around 320 grams, which strikes a nice middle ground. The first thing that hits you with the Eris is the bass. And I mean, really hits you. This is not a gentle low-end lift or a tasteful bass extension. Because the bass is so dominant though, there are clear trade-offs. The mid-range sits behind a curtain. Not crashed or muddy, but recessed enough that vocals lose quite a bit of presence and intimacy. Male and female voices sound slightly pushed back. There is body, but the immediacy that makes a vocal feel in your face is greatly reduced. Instruments that live in the mid-band, acoustic guitars, pianos, some horns, lose some bite and texture, and complex mixes can feel less transparent because the bass fills a lot of sonic real estate. Up top there is a modest treble lift. The Eris isn't harsh, but the highs are pushed enough to give cymbals, hi-hats, and some upper harmonics a touch of sparkle. That helps the tuning avoid total muddiness. Still, compared to the enormous sub-bass levels, the treble feels like it's competing for attention rather than balancing the spectrum. Technically speaking, detail retrieval and resolution aren't. Small micro details, the very fine textures in a guitar pick, the microscopic room reverberations can get swallowed by the bass energy. Dynamics are present, there is energy and drive, but the extreme subtlety of microdynamics isn't what this headphone does best. It prefers impact over nuance. Imaging and staging follow a similar theme. Width is there, you get a somewhat wide left to right spread with a satisfying sense of stereo separation. However, depth is the weaker axis. The presentation tends to be fairly forward and dense rather than airy and layered. Instruments are placed broadly across the stage, but precise three-dimensional placement and layering aren't its strengths. In short, it feels big and bold rather than finely mapped. Genre suitability is pretty straightforward. EDM, trap, hip-hop, bass-heavy pop, and a lot of modern electronic music feel fantastic. Acoustic folk, classical, chamber jazz, and anything where mid-range timbre and micro-detail matter? Less ideal. You'll miss the nuance and the vocal closeness these genres often demand. One other practical note: because the tuning leans so far into the lows, you need to be mindful of source and volume. On bright, aggressively mastered tracks, the treble push can make the combination feel slightly shouty, and on very bassy recordings, the mid-range becomes even more masked. At this point, you're going to be like, what mid-range? A light EQ cut in the sub-bass or a small bump to fill in the lower mids can help rescue a lot of detail if you want a more balanced sound without losing the fun factor. The Harmonic Dyne Eris isn't aiming for reference neutrality or studio accuracy. It's a fun headphone that favors visceral, low-end punch and sheer musical excitement over analytical detail and absolute realism. If you love big bass and dramatic presentation, you'll probably adore it. If you care most about vocal intimacy, micro detail, and natural timbre, you will notice those things missing. Either way, it makes a very clear statement about what it wants to do, and it does that.